very important in studying a cosmology or cosmogony is to keep in perspective the key questions that they were designed to answer. And we've been hitting on this all along in this lecture. But when you're reading something, you can't be looking to it for answers to what it's not answering. Does that make sense? There has to be some analogy between those things. So if you're out there like trying to figure out how to swap the alternator in your car, and you've been reading this book all day, and finally your wife goes, "Why can you not get that alternator fixed?" And you say, "I don't know why, I've been reading this book all day." And she goes, "Well, what book are you reading?" And you're like, "Oh, this is a Mark Twain novel." And she goes, "Well, that's not about alternators. That's not going to answer your question, right?" You can't read texts and be looking for answers to questions that it's not interested in, that it's not addressing. That's an important interpretative thing. You don't find the answer to everything in every text. And a hermeneutical mistake that we often make is trying to force the issue on that, trying to force some kind of systematic theology question into it, or some kind of doctrinal question into every single text and try to hammer it out. I would tell you guys this is controversial, but I like to think that I have one controversial statement every class. And I guess for you guys from a distance, y'all aren't able to understand how tongue-in-cheek I am about this, but you guys here locally can. I mean this one seriously, though. If you don't have at least one text in all of Scripture that challenges your theological conclusions and your doctrine, I don't know what you're doing when you're reading Scripture. You mean to tell me you don't have one single text that just gives you problems? It just doesn't seem to fit, or the answer doesn't seem to fit with everything else that you've developed? Man, we all should have that, I think. I think we all do have it. I know there's a lot of you guys that are not amillennial, and so I know you have texts that don't fit into your theological persuasion. So when we're reading these texts, don't lose sight of every text is not answering every question, right?